Okay. Hi from London. This is a Sunday morning. Actually, it's Sunday afternoon. I shouldn't tell you that. But I woke up just recently, having had 2 weeks of enormous jet lag, which are very hard to overcome at this age. That lack of sleep is pretty amazing in terms of what it does to the mind. So today's talk is going to be an experiment in terms of trying to speak to everyone in class about the last 2 weeks and the experience of being away from all of you and at the same time being so present in another world. It's really a kind of remarkable and wonderful journey. For whatever it's worth, you should just know that the musical is going beyond belief, beautifully, wonderfully, magically well. I have a great director. The cast is thrilling to be with. To wake up in the morning and see all of these dancers learning dance routines to dances you never even imagined would be part of your own life. It's an extraordinary thing, and the songs are pretty much finished. We're changing the script in places to accommodate scene changes. The sets are extraordinary. I mean, on and on. It's a very exciting process to be part of, and it's wonderful to be part of it when you can surrender the need to be the ego center of it. And being egoless in this situation is to be every dancer, every actor, the director, the costumers, everybody, to be part of a whole structure which is all working toward one end, which is to create this wonderful thing. And it's really remarkable to be an aspect of something rather than to try to feel you're driving it, which is something that I think was there in the early days of my own sort of creative life. So lots changed in the years, and certainly in the last months of my life. This last few weeks have been very much a separation from family and from all of you, and I've now discovered the joys of Skype and iChat, and I get to look at my granddaughter, 2 weeks old, on a regular basis. I watch the house in which she lives. I see the rooms that she's in. I see her crying and laughing and sleeping and doing all the things that she does, and it's enormously immediate on some very strange level. It's all completely electronic, just as this is. I'm actually having a relationship with somebody who's pixels, just pixels. And those pixels have an enormous emotional effect on this body of mine, and there's something wonderful about seeing that smile transmitted through airwaves and having this illuminating aspect in me 6,000 miles apart. And I really am just loving the fact that this world in a way is shrinking in some extraordinary way, and on the other hand is as expansive as it ever was. The truth of life, I think, is being very much shown to us in the experience of this technology, because we are kind of all pixelated. We're all figments of or images of another life. We pick up these signals from other people, and they become the drama, the source of joy and misery that we all experience in daily life. And to have it contained on a computer screen is really fascinating, because it seems as real as being there, and yet it's a movie. It's just light and images, and they tell an enormous story, and we relate to them with unbelievable impact. And I find that completely amazing, because it's such a wonderful metaphor for daily life, for real life, and to really question the nature of our existence, to question what it is that's really going on. Where is the power? It's not in the image, it's in the story. The power is in the story. And why is story so powerful? Well, I've been talking about that in the last weeks of my talks in Los Angeles, and it will be a theme, I think, that I will maintain for a while, because I'm a storyteller, and because I was, I think, born to tell stories, and because I'm fascinated by them, as we all are. We all love the stories of our lives and the stories of other people's lives, and we can't get enough of them, and we can't stop turning the pages. I was just staring out the window, I'll show you later, at a squirrel that was trying to invade the nest of another squirrel in a rooftop, a little thing that goes into the attic of a rooftop across the way, and the drama that was unfolding there. I didn't want to go back to the bathroom and finish brushing my teeth. I wanted to just stand there and stand there. It was so amazing, this story the compelling need for outcome is quite amazing in its addictive form. So what I'm talking about as story is really at the core of so much of what I think about these days, and one of the reasons is that I had a horoscope done for my granddaughter, for Talia, and as soon as I got it, I said, "Oh my God, should I have done this?" She was a week old, and Andrew Bloomfield, who's a wonderful Vedic astrologer, put this together, and he said, "Do you want me to take out all the parts that your children may not want to see?" And I said, "No, don't do that." And then I read it before I showed it to them, and I went, well, maybe I should have done that, because I suddenly saw in front of me an entire life story. I saw the whole picture. Now, whether it's the picture, the real picture, the inclinations toward a picture, that's hard to say exactly. But I saw a picture of a woman who was going to possibly emerge from this little baby. Whether it's the true story or not the true story was not as important as the fact that there was a story. And that story was the story of every human life. And every human life is the story of struggle, discontent, reaching for more, hunger, desire, fear, every story. And they all have their same arc, every one of them. And when you see a newborn baby, you strangely in your own mind say, this child will be different. This child will have a different life. Somehow everything magically will open up for them, and they will have all the best there is, and they won't have to struggle. Not true. It cannot be true, because the journey through the human experience, the journey through life as we know it, is a journey of struggle, arrival, transformation, transcendence. All of these things that occur in human life are there because we are in that world, the world that requires that. You can't come into this world and not cry and laugh. You can't. And I look at Talia, and she does both, and sometimes cries for half an hour at a time, and sometimes just lies and looks at you. And I told you all about the photographs. I sent some early photographs. They continue to be amazing because she has the look of presence. She looks like that. It's so beautiful. It's so amazing to watch that beauty unfold and to see it there and to know that it's going to get totally corrupted, as it did in each of us. That's what happened. This complete openness to the universe suddenly becomes separated. Suddenly we are no longer the whole of wonder. We are no longer life looking at life. We become this individual particle looking at a corner or a piece of life, and we get very lost in that. And it's a very, very painful thing that starts to emerge, especially when we're aware that it is emerging. You learn it pretty quickly, usually from your parents saying to you, you're a good boy or a good girl, or a bad boy or a bad girl, and your classmates say you're too fat or you're too thin or you got pimples or you got funny hair. All of these things start to define us in ways that are no longer one with the universe. We're now a piece of that universe, and interestingly, an imperfect and an unhappy often piece, or a renegade piece, or whatever you want to be. You're not the same being that you were when you were a baby, which was a wholeness, oneness. You have become defined as a tiny little separated unit, and that causes enormous suffering. And what happens along that journey, if you're lucky, is you realize that all of that creation of you as a person had nothing to do with you. It was happening to you. There was a part of you that was assembling pieces and creating a self, but it's not a real self. It's just built up of other people's impressions, of your reaction to those impressions, and at some point, if you are fortunate enough, that kind of goes, whew, and you're back to this, to looking at the world through Talia's eyes, like, and it's a place of enormous peace, tranquility, joy, openness, availability. But here's what's very interesting about it. That moment of complete realization of your oneness in no way separates you from the fact that you have a body, that you have longings, that you have hunger, that your body still wants story. It's all still there. Only it's not you that has it or wants it, it's the universe that is that. And you are that entire striving of the universe. Talia's life story, my children's stories, my wife's stories, your stories, they're all part of this one enormous thing that is happening and happening and happening. And we are not separate from it. We are one with the massiveness of it, the vastness, the infinite nature of it. And it's so overwhelmingly beautiful. And when you separate from your own private sense of it and you become one with the whole of it, you exist in a state of unbelievable awe and gratitude. That's all that happens. It just takes over. It is so beautiful. It is so wonderful. The life journey, with all of its struggle and all of its difficulty, is a journey you would not want to miss. It's why you fight to come here. 200 million sperm try to impregnate that one egg in order to make it into this journey. You are one out of 200 million who have made it here. And then you get here and go, why is the milk warm? Why doesn't the TV work? Why doesn't anybody like me? I mean, you lose your sense of the awe and joy and magnitude of this expression, of this place of being. And that's sad, and we all do it, so there's no blame in it. And when you start to realize that you're doing it and there's no blame in it, that's the beginning of relaxing your sense of separateness, of separation. Once you start to feel it's okay to be lost in this, it's okay to be human in this, that's the trick. That's the beginning of going, I'm okay. It's okay. It's not supposed to be other than what it is. This is exactly as it wants to be. And you go, oh, this is it. My struggle is it. My pain is it. Everything I am knowing and experiencing is it. And then something starts to click in you, and you're no longer in battle mode with it. You're no longer angry at it. You no longer think something is wrong because of it. You're just it. And when you completely evaporate, and by completely I use that in quotes because the you doesn't evaporate, as I've said, it just blends back into the whole. There's no you and it's just it. And that's what we are. And when you touch that and you feel that and you remember that and you reemerge as that, life becomes this constant wonder. Now, I have to say, it also becomes complicated. It's the same old life. Same old stuff goes on. And you're not really sitting in a beatific state. You're still engaging it exactly as you were before. But there is this knowing that's there that wasn't there before. That it ain't you. This is what's happening, and it's part of a cosmic urge. It's vast, it's powerful, and it is ongoing. And who knows what it is? I don't have an answer to that, and I think a lot of awakened people don't. But what you understand is that it's real. It's real. I had a wonderful dialogue with a man named Melvin who had been a hermit for 40 years after he awakened and has recently come out of that. And he reached out to me out of the blue. He saw me on at the SIG conference and said it was the first time he ever wanted to talk to somebody else about himself, about this. And I was so moved by that because, I'm fairly new to this, and I didn't know why he had reached out, but we spoke. And he was so clear-headed and so wonderful and so simple. But what he said to me was so moving. He said his whole goal is to be real in a world of unreality. And I think that's our goal, to be real. Just to be real. What does it mean to be real? Well, you don't have to be enlightened to be real. You just have to be honest. You just have to be open. You just have to be yourself. What is it to be yourself? It's to recognize that everything you are is it. Everything you are is what is. And that's not something you can do intellectually. You can try. It helps. You can sit and meditate every day and get tastes of it. Because when you sit and meditate every day, what happens, which is so wonderful, is not that you have an experience of being one. You actually let go of the part of you that's separate. You just let go. And you become one. Meditation is not about having, it's not having. It's just being. That's the joy of meditation. And at some point when this really opens for you, there's no meditation. It just is all not meditation. It's all not being you. It's just being you. You, this. That's what we're trying to do. So I have this little granddaughter who's about to embark on this huge journey. And she's got stuff to deal with. Big stuff. You know, the Vedic astrology gives you past lives and everything else. So you look at a very big picture. Her journey is, I have to tell you, it's a wonderful journey. It's full of really good things, but it's also full of really difficult things. Really difficult things. Just like your journey. Why should anybody be different? You think Buddha was different? You think Nisargadatta is different? Ramana Maharshi? No. We all have this life to live. I mean, if nothing else, you know, I always think of Buddha with hemorrhoids, you know, if he's sitting all the time, I mean, it's you know, he may be surrendering it, but he's got it. You know, he'll see it as part of the universe, because it is part of the universe, but you don't avoid, you don't escape anything. If nothing else, you are everything. You are anything that can happen. And it is happening. And it has nothing to do with you, because there is no separate you to whom it is happening. It's just happening. I'm sitting looking out a window. I'll show you a picture in a second. A lot of London is out there, but also there's a little courtyard right next to me downstairs. This is an apartment that I'm renting, a really wonderful apartment from a woman who I have never met, but I know her completely through the books she has, the artwork on the walls, the way she keeps her space. I know her through her space. She's truly a wonderful person. I've never talked to her. I may never talk to her, but I've come to know her through being in her space. Looking out the window is all of London. There's the old, wonderful part of London that feels like Dickens, and right out my window is a tower that they're building that is like a monolith from 2090. It's huge. It's scary looking on some level, but right below me is a courtyard. This beautiful kind of church courtyard. So there are all of these worlds, all interacting with each other, and down right here to my right is my computer, and if I push that button, I could be in Los Angeles talking to my kids right now. That's what I've been doing. It's like, wow, Blanche and I just sit and talk, like we're just at home, we're at the table. Josh puts me on his desk, and I feel like a little gnome sitting on his desk talking to him, or he puts me on the kitchen counter while he's making breakfast, and I feel like I'm a little thing, a little imp, talking to him on the counter. I actually said to Blanche, we should put the computer back in my normal seat so we can talk across the table, and it would feel like I was really right there. But this is going to happen, guys. We're going to actually have dinner conversations. We'll have a table here with a table that you'll have in your room. They'll intersect, and we'll sit and we'll have conversations from 3,000 miles away. So then do we need human contact? Save that for another week. I mean, physical contact, I think, is deeply important. It seems like the universe strives for physical contact. That's what sex is. We want to touch each other. We don't want to see each other, have emotional relationships only. We want to touch, we want to hug, we want to kiss. The other day I was talking to Ari, and he went like this, and he put his arms around me to hug me. And it was like, I could almost feel the hug, but I wanted the hug. I wanted the hug. And so we still need each other, guys. We still need each other in enormous ways, and that's the joy of being alive, knowing and wanting each other, and then trying to figure out how do you navigate all the rules of being together. That's the drama. That's the drama. That's the story. I want you. I don't want you. You're too pretty. You're not pretty enough. She's good enough. She's not good enough. That's what movies are based on, and plays, and and then you have video games where you just kill people, which is the kind of touching, in a funny way. But I'm telling you, the world that we're in, the universe that you are in, as you're sitting here listening to this right now on some kind of video player or computer, this universe is the universe we're entering, and it's no different than the universe we had before, except that it's pointing out a lot of new things about life as we know it. The digitized life, if you will, the life of pixels, the life of wave and particle, which I've been talking about. Wave, Wave is the vastness of this. The particle is what you're seeing on your computer screen right now. These are just particles. These are just words coming out of a voice. And there's nobody here making this voice talk. There's no Bruce talking to you. There's just talk. And it's just happening. And it's being as real as it can be. And it's speaking as openly and honestly as it can about what it knows. And it seems to have known something that is of interest to other people, because once you start to hear about what it can be when you become one with everything, there's something in the psyche that only wants to know about that. It only wants that. And the only reason it only wants that is because it knows it's true, and because it hungers for that in the deepest possible way. Even when it's running in the other direction, it's hungering for oneness. It's hungering for truth. It's hungering for what is. And the miracle of life is that you are living at this very second in what is. Your mind isn't, perhaps. Your mind is thinking, when's Bruce going to stop talking so I can go back and have coffee or tea, or, why didn't he tell me this 20 years ago, or whatever the mind is doing. But if you get rid of all of that and you just listen and get really open and listen, there's a hunger being fulfilled by this dialogue. And this dialogue is an extraordinary thing, and it's coming at you in pixels, electronic waves. It's really remarkable. Anyway, this is a different kind of talk, I think. It's not me meditating. I'm wearing an orange corduroy shirt, so there's a little continuity of orange, I guess. But it's just an attempt to get back in touch with you guys, to let you know that all's well here. I really do miss you. Blanche and I realized I probably could teach class on Skype. Interesting idea. Just put the computer up there like a little gnome, and I can have a little disembodied head, and I could actually look out and see whoever's in the frame of reference of the camera. That's an interesting idea. I'm not quite ready for it, but anyway, this is the stopgap. This is a video from London. So let me show you a quick moment of London, and then I'm going to go take a walk because it's sunny out, which is the first day since I've been here. Here's my courtyard over here. You can see it's really, really English and really beautiful. I love it, and nobody uses it. And here is where the squirrels were fighting. There's something living in this thing right here, and a squirrel came down right to the edge down there, and the peak of the triangular peak of the outcrop from the roof, and just waited to have battle with the one that was living inside, and the strategies were amazing. And here's our tower. This is London. It's really amazing. And I am so happy to be here, and happy to be able to get back in touch with all of you. Sorry about all this movement. I'm sorry if I'm making you nauseous. And I'll try to do it more often. So this is today's talk, Sunday, I don't even know the date, the end of the month. And excuse me, I love you all. You have no idea how much I love every one of you and how deeply I love you. It's, I had that experience, talked about it once many years ago, where I was driving in a car and suddenly it just stopped, and the universe said, "You have no idea how much I love you." Well, that's how I feel. And on those happy words, I say bye-bye.